was like, well, too bad. You know, so sad, but that's the way we do things.
If you're like many at one time or another, you've been hit with some big overdraft fees. But an exclusive 5 on Your Side investigation found some banks may be using those fees to make money off you. Good evening, I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Lee Jordan. 5 on Your Side Chief Investigator Ron Regan's working to protect your money tonight. And Ron, some banks are being accused of gaming the system.
Well, that's right. 90% of us have a bank account, and 1 in 5 have been hit with overdraft fees. But we found some banks have a policy you probably don't even know about that's helped them earn billions in overdraft fees.
It begins like this. But it's how banks process transactions that can drain your checking account.
I think it's greed.
Profit. Absolutely, just for the profit.
Here's what our On Your Side investigation found. Suppose you're left with about $317 in the bank. Swipe your cards at a few spots, a couple of ATM withdrawals, and finally a $65 check. In this order, you've got just one $22 overdraft fee. But watch what happens if your bank reorders transactions, posting larger ones ahead of much smaller ones. Your account is now drained almost immediately. Instead of just one overdraft fee, you now have 4 and $88 in fees. That's how Wells Fargo lost a multi-million-dollar lawsuit for unfair and deceptive practices. And First Merit Bank in Akron currently faces a similar lawsuit. Jim Griffiths says First Merit hit him for nearly $500 in repeated overdraft fees he says were unfair.
But I did balance that checkbook every single day, and there should have been one item that bounced, and that was that one large payment that was put through.
First Merit declined to comment on its practices. Francis Lesniak, who's a former bank teller, says Chase Bank did the same thing several years ago.
But when they charged for all of those small transactions, I said, it's not fair. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to the other people.
She actually overdrew her account by only $5.60, but was charged $96 in multiple overdraft fees after her bank reordered the transactions. Chase has since changed its practices after being sued. This report by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau claims banks earned $12.6 billion in overdraft fees in 2011 alone. Now, Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown is introducing new federal legislation to ban the practice.
Too often the banks have gamed the system and created a lot of fees for people to pay that they wouldn't have had to pay if the banks would simply cash them in the order that the bank received them.
Some banks like Huntington are taking action on their own.
Everybody's working hard, trying to make a living, pay their bills. This shouldn't be a gotcha or any kind of opportunity to take advantage of somebody when they make a mistake or have a problem. It's the last thing they need is a bunch more fees that rack up.
So here are some specific On Your Side steps you can take to save money. Ask your bank for a copy of disclosure agreements regarding overdraft fees. Determine how your bank processes transactions, and follow up immediately on overdraft fees that seem unfair.
And Huntington says it cost the bank $30 million just to change its old overdraft system so consumers aren't hit with those big fees. And happening right now on Newsnet5.com, we've got consumer credit expert Jay Seaton standing by to answer all of your financial and banking savings-oriented kinds of questions. Log on right now. He's standing by ready to answer all of
Right.
those.
Take advantage of that opportunity. And Ron, I know you have some more important information about banking going up on Newsnet5.com.
We do. In just a few minutes, we're going to put a lot more on there, particularly what a number of big banks policies are, their disclosure statements regarding overdraft fees, and you'll also be able to see a really cool interactive graphic that shows exactly how this check reordering process actually works.
Very interesting. All right. Thanks, Ron. Chris?